So, welcome everybody. My name is Daigaro again. uh, I'm co-founder of DeFi project of Fuji, but I'm here to basically introduce Web3. Uh, Obviously, this is meant to just kind of give an explanation how we got to Web3, and some basics of what people should know. Like in Web3, we use wallets, we don't use email. Uh, and basic things about native token, how to make a trade, NFTs. So so that this is what we're going to learn today. And for some of the people that got here earlier, I played this sound, which I think is gonna. Let's enjoy it from the. So if many of you guys were born long enough as me, you can remember that this was the sound of like connecting to the internet basically 25 years ago, even maybe more. And it was really clunky to connect to the internet. You had to log your landline. It was not so fast. And essentially, I think we're in Web3. This is where we are. Like the experience is not so great. There's many things you have to learn and know about what you're doing. But I think it's just gonna improve with time. And essentially how we see how the internet was back then, or web in general, we come a long way on how the experience is now. So I was showing before the first type of websites that we have, and essentially Web 1 is referred to the static web, in where it was just dummy websites in where you can just click links and information will show up, and it wasn't that exciting, right? It was just showing information, and that was it. So after that came Web 2, in where basically browsers became intelligent, and you were able to interact with the website. That would be an example of that would be like Google Earth, and I think this was a great breakthrough. Probably, I would say, the interaction here became awesome. I remember the first time I saw Google Earth, and it was awesome to see, you can zoom in into your house, you can see your friend's house, and right now I think it even detects what you like and it highlight the places that you should go. So I think Web 2 essentially became this way of interacting with information, in where you're giving inputs and you're getting outputs according to what's happening. And I was just explaining this so that I think I can highlight who owns the data in this Web 2 world. And if you think about it, we all have emails, and do we really own that email information? Like, are we in control of it? I think that's a question that we should ask ourselves. And the answer is no, right? Google or Hotmail can just shut down the servers, and pretty much our email is gone. So I think it is important to know that Web 2, the information is in control of others. So there's a saying that says, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And I was giving examples that, for example, Twitter, Facebook, all those pictures we upload, they are owned by Facebook, and they can do with that whatever they want, because actually we're consenting to that. So essentially, if you think about all these products that you use on the web, and you're not paying for them, probably you are the product because they monetize you somehow, or you're just being bombarded with ads of what you're supposed to buy. And then just to explain a little bit about networks, because I think one key thing about Web3 is that we know how the network and how the data is being transferred. Is that networks that we know like Visa, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple work this way, in where computers just basically go to a central server and they distribute the data this way. So there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, it's very efficient, but we just need to be aware that's how centralized networks work. And decentralized networks are like this one, where the information is shared across the computer. And we also have examples in nature in where decentralized networks just work because it happens in nature. So that's like ants. Actually, ants, the way they communicate and how they distribute work is done like this way. Also, the electric grid, or how power is distributed in a city or a country, works like this, even between countries. And other examples, obviously, are where we are here, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, IPFS. They use decentralized networks to share information. So some of the precursors of decentralized networks were Napster and BitTorrent. I was explaining earlier, not sure if you guys know what Napster was. It was a great platform to share music, and if you were like a 90s, 2000 kid, you certainly downloaded music from Napster. And BitTorrent was the same, but it was used for software. And I think the key thing that people don't realize is that Bitcoin introduced something that I think wasn't possible before. And that was basically the trigger for Web3. And essentially, before Bitcoin, there was no way to, or clear way to have a decentralized network in where you can say something is owned by someone. So if we look at this bunch of zeros and ones, it's just a message. So if you type this is a message. This is how you represent it in binary. And how can I know if you or someone else typed that message? And there was no way to prove it because, if you just look at this, it's the same for anybody. So what Bitcoin did basically was that you can represent digital ownership, and you can prove that someone owns something in a decentralized network. And it was a combination of technologies that we already had before, but nobody had put them together. And I think that's the contribution we can say Bitcoin brought to Web3, and one of the key things that we have in Web3. So the key thing about Web3 is that previously, the way basically we do everything in Web 2 and Web 1 was by emails. And now the new tool that we have to learn is using wallets. And wallets, essentially, it's a comparison of Web 1 is to emails, as Web 3 is to wallets. This is a kind of more sophisticated explanation of what is a wallet, but essentially it's just these math functions that can be unique. And if you know the way this math function was created, you can know it was you that created something or make some kind of data. So just to summarize, it was a bunch of words to explain what is Web3, right? But essentially, it's the web of digital ownership. I think that's a really good way to summarize it. And the key aspects of it is that it's meant to be decentralized. It's meant to be an option. I think this is very important. I don't think Web3 comes here to replace the whole thing, right? It's an option, and it's an option of ownership. If you want to own the data, use Web3. If you don't care, you can keep using what you were using before. And the other key point is that it requires wallets. and I think I've highlighted that already. And basically, your wallet is your identity, is the new email. And I think I have to highlight that Web3 is obviously a very immature technology, as I explained at the beginning, with weird sounds of how you used to connect. We still have to improve a lot on it, but yeah. So this was just a brief intro, to Web3, and I want to have a little bit of an idea of who here has a wallet, just by raising hands. Okay. Now, you prefer desktop wallets or you use phone wallets? Phone wallet?
Yeah.
Desktop?
Both.
Both? Okay. So it seems like you guys are familiar with wallets. I was actually going to go through the process of creating a wallet, but I think there's general understanding of what a wallet is. I chose these ones because they do the connection to the phone. I think there's an aspect of wallets that you have to be responsible specifically about your private key, and these guys make a good workaround in where, like, you don't, as a new user, you don't have to get into a wallet and copy down a phrase that you don't even know why you need to copy down these 12 words. So yeah, I mean, there are good examples of wallets that are trying to improve the experience of onboarding new people to the Web3. So one important aspect of wallets, or when you try to interact with the Web3, is that you need this native token. And I think for some people joining the Web3, this is something of like a little bit of why do I need this? And the different blockchains obviously use different types of native asset. But one way to maybe represent that is that if you're on Web3 and you need to do something, you need like the native token will be, for example, if you want to use your computer, you need electricity. So if you want to do something on Web3, you need the native token essentially to allow you to do something.
Can you go back a step, because you said that you wanted to make it easier for people to get wallets, and there are a few people here that don't have wallets. Maybe.
Yeah, sure. Maybe we create a wallet. Sure. So.
And also, sorry, can I ask? And would you recommend getting, like, for example, ENS domain name or any other Web3 name? And do you think it's going to be easier to, like, transfer money to other people if you get, for example, I don't know, james.if, and then you have it in your wallet?
These are good questions. So anybody that doesn't know, ENS essentially allows to make addresses easy for people to associate with, like, a name. Or so I think certainly there's many solutions besides ENS. There's Lens, there's other ones. I mean, I don't want to endorse one specifically. Obviously, ENS is one of the biggest ones, and yeah, I think it's an easy way to remember addresses. So I think for the workshop, I'm just going to create the Rainbow wallet. So Rainbow wallet is it's a phone wallet, and essentially you have to download it through your phone. And if you go, the idea here was that probably if there's someone without a wallet, you can go to the App Store or Google Store, depends on the type of phone you're using. And download the app. So if you are on your phone, you probably will connect to that, and in the next step, we were actually going to transfer some assets, so and do a trade. So let me just I'm gonna open one of these. So when you're in an application, for example, and you want to perform a trade, you will be asked to connect your wallet. And with Rainbow Wallet, if you already downloaded it on your phone, the easiest way to connect is through Wallet Connect. And if you have your app, like I just opened the Wallet Connect app, I just downloaded it. You will scan the QR, and it will prompt you to connect to the whatever application you're trying to use, right? And essentially, it's like the login of your email.
So Wallet Connect is separate to.
So I just connected, and Wallet Connect is just a hooking service between the web application you want to use and your wallet. That right now the identity or your email information is being controlled in your phone. So yeah, and this is just a website where you can trade tokens. It's important to know, because sometimes when you want to use a specific application on Web3, you will need a specific type of token. And yeah, this is a safe way to connect to your application without exposing your private keys.
So it's linked to your device or linked to your email account or something?
So right now the wallet is connected to my phone.
On the device?
Yeah, and so your specific device. And even it may sound like, oh, hey, what happens if my device, if I lose it, right? If I lose my phone. So all the wallets that I show, let me just go back to the. All these wallets have a backing system. So for example, in Apple phones, they can upload you can back up your private keys in the cloud. And they use different security mechanisms, but one of them can be like your face, or a password. So it's easy that if you lose your phone, you can recover your keys through your face or through a password that you must remember. And all of these are easy to back up in this way. So that's why I actually chose them. Yeah, maybe I show the website for the other ones. So Sengo Wallet, it's it's also an app that you have to download on your phone, and I think they go beyond the Ethereum ecosystem. Actually, Rainbow Wallet is very Ethereum-like. Sengo is more kind of universal in terms of like the blockchains you can connect to. And yeah, that technology behind how they encrypt and protect your private keys is actually cool. And then obviously Coinbase wallet has done a really good job in making the experience of creating a wallet simple. Maybe some of you guys know Coinbase is an exchange, so also like how you connect from your centralized exchange to your wallet and how you do things on Web3. They just made that simpler for the user. So going back to the making a trade. So one important thing I think I mentioned before is that you need native token. And just right now, I don't think I have native token here. So I'll send some from my, so just bear with me a second. Now, some of the wallets have like the option to just like do it with your debit or credit card. I mean, it's up to you. I'm changing wallets because it was easier to send to a different wallet. So I guess here we're just going to go through the experience of connecting to Coinbase wallet. And if we go to the Polygon network, it should reflect that I have some native tokens. I believe. So just up here, basically I'm performing a trade, and actually I'm going to get some mana tokens. Mana tokens are used for metaverse application that we kind of explore in a minute. And essentially to perform a trade, like when you're connected through your phone, any confirmation will have to be done through your phone, and it's checking my face. You have to wait for the transaction to be mined, and there you go. You just performed a trade on Web3. So now we have some tokens to play around for our next activity.
I have a question that.
Sure.
What kind of swap, different swap like Uniswap, SushiSwap? What's the difference between I trade to a different, if I have your USDT, I trade to different coin, then why I need to use that?
Yeah, so if I understand the question correctly, there's many places where you can perform a trade, and
Yeah.
so the question will be why I use this particular versus that one or that one?
Yeah, or I can do trade by our exchange platform.
So when you make a trade on decentralized platform like these ones, essentially you are the one interacting with a specific smart contract, or there's no middleman essentially between what you want to do and the action you're doing. When you, for example, most of you might be familiar with Binance, Coinbase, which are centralized exchanges, and when you perform a trade, essentially they are facilitating the exchange between you and other users. And here the difference is that there's a smart contract, which is code, and somehow this contract is holding enough tokens to perform the trade that you want to do. In my case, I changed some Matic tokens for Mana tokens, and there was no person in between to facilitate the trade. It was just code. So that's it's a pretty cool thing. Because there's a lot of things that are you don't require people anymore. So yeah, good question. Good question. So the next thing we're going to do was create an NFT. OpenSea is probably the biggest platforms for NFTs. NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. I think they were really popular in 2021. There was a mania about trading, and it was just images of cool images you can use for your profile or anything. And yeah, I think OpenSea has made it easy so that anybody can make an NFT. So what I'm gonna do right now, essentially I'm gonna take a picture of you guys, and we're gonna make that an NFT, and we're gonna put it for sale on OpenSea. So yeah, maybe one of you wants to buy it. So even the cameraman is gonna be in the NFT. So just say hi or whatever. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
I'm surprised they don't mic out, man. The camera guy. Might have started the presentation again.
No, maybe if you'll buy it. Who knows? So I'm just gonna send this picture to my computer so I can access it, and then we'll make it an NFT. So just bear with me because I have to do this on the fly. And let's get to the NFT factory. So OpenSea. Again, I think right now my Coinbase wallet is connected, so we can continue. And I'm just waiting for the picture to arrive. Okay. So this is you guys looking good. And so here we are back to the OpenSea platform. So once you connect your wallet, I think there's a menu here in where you can just go to create. And it's asking me to confirm on my phone that it is me who wants to create an NFT. So I think OpenSea just made it really easy. I mean, you just need to upload data, fill in information, and so that's us.
So how would you categorize this NFT? Like, would it be art NFT or profile picture NFT? What's the category?
It's a good question. I think maybe this will be what they call proof of attendance. I mean, NFTs, essentially, I think there's this concept of NFTs related to art, and it's been interesting the approach that NFT has taken. But NFT is any single item that we want to be unique. I mean, humans can be an NFT. We can have digital representations of us on Web3. It can be property, like a specific house in Dubai, for example. So, you know, they essentially it's just a digital identity or identifier for something.
Right.
And I guess here it will be identifier that we were here in this workshop.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. Here, I don't think you have to necessarily. You need to put in a specific URL for that. So I already created a collection before the. So a collection is just basically a place where you want to dump your NFTs or like group them if you want. I'm gonna use so there's many blockchain options. Obviously, one important thing to highlight is that Ethereum is an expensive blockchain to fool around. So I suggest that if you want to do play around, you probably use a different network. Polygon is convenient just because you know it's easy to use. So we have to answer these different requests to show that we're not humans. So we are humans. And yeah, I mean, this is how we create NFTs. Again, I think OpenSea just made it easy so that anybody can make a quick NFT. Obviously, there's more levels of complexity. Even you can write a contract in where the NFT can perform certain things if something happens. So I guess here OpenSea just made it easy so that non-developers can enjoy uploading their art, which is kind of the main use case right now. Yeah, so that was creating an NFT. And
So if I have the same copy of your photo, can I do the same thing? But
good question. So right now, that photo essentially is owned by my wallet, the one that I was connected to. So I can prove that I own this picture right now. And the idea of OpenSea is obviously a marketplace in where you can buy and sell these images or art. In this case, if anybody wanted, you can buy this picture from me, and that will be transferred to your wallet. And within the blockchain, it will show that this picture is owned by you. And there's no way to deny that because it's actually verified by the blockchain. But yeah, it's interesting because I think NFTs will certainly grow into the real world assets in where, how governments handle real estate, for example, can essentially be this way. And there's no need to have this huge bureaucracy of people signing for you and paying a bunch of middlemen to transfer ownership of something, if we can just prove it like that. So someday, hopefully, these organizations or institutions learn that there's better ways to transfer digital ownership of something. And these are silly use cases, but I think it can become into something more than just transferring art or images. So next, we're going to explore the metaverse. I personally don't explore much the metaverse, but here, Decentraland is actually pretty cool. I play around with it this weekend, and yeah, it's a new concept in where I think after COVID, we're in a world in where a lot of us now work remotely. And sometimes you just need a way to engage with the people you work with in a different way. And I think the metaverse is facilitating that. It can be weird sometimes, but it's also fun. So let's go to Decentraland. Hopefully it loads. So I think it connected to my wallet already, but just wanted to highlight that whenever anything in Web3, you have to connect your wallet. And sometimes if you're already connected, it will detect that. I think at some point, it's gonna give me a prompt again on my phone just to confirm that it's me trying to connect to this application. And yeah, so Decentraland essentially it's kind of like a place where you can hang out. I'm gonna go to this plaza, and one of the interesting things about the metaverse is that there's ownership of stuff. Let me try to change the camera. So we're at a lounge here. But for example, some of these hangout places, like you see some of the digital art, and it's actually owned by someone. And this is something that is becoming interesting in the metaverse because, people can say, oh, I own this or I own that, and maybe depends on the age group, but there's younger generations in where there's games in where like this is actually some kind of status thing, like, oh, I own this or I own that, and yeah. So and the way actually you buy this art is through like exchanging NFTs or yeah. Also, I'm not sure if you guys have used any virtual reality headsets, but right now, obviously, we're doing it with a computer. You can also engage in this kind of metaverse with the virtual reality sets, and it's kind of a different experience because you can actually walk and feel like you're in the place, in this place. So. Yeah, I'm trying to find a way out. And there's just one more thing I want to show. Essentially, the ownership of the land and what people are building on the metaverse. So I think here we're starting to like going into people's property. So if you see on the right here, there's like some plots, like plot land, and people actually own this plot land. And essentially that digital space is for you to build whatever you want. There's this new, I would say, job or career of metaverse architects, and essentially what they're doing is designing digital experiences or digital places, and it may be clunky and weird, like it just looks like a game from 15 years ago, but yeah, it's what people are engaging in, and it's what I think the cool thing here is that there's no one here just controlling what everybody has to do. Essentially, people are just building what they want, and they're the owners of what they're building there. So it's an interesting concept, but yeah. And there's many things you can do, like in every specific place. Maybe there's stuff you can buy. Sometimes you can just check like what the people are just displaying their art. You can think of it as museums, perhaps. But yeah, so I think that's probably all I have to show for the metaverse. Anybody's free to explore. You can probably waste a lot of time here. But yeah, so again, thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed, or at least you learned something. I think Web3, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's in its very beginning. The way we interact with Web3 is evolving, and hopefully the experience is going to become better. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm not sure if there's any specific question or Anything you guys would like to know?